Hello, so in this video what I'd like to do is talk about some of the latest projects that I've been working on, and I hope to do this more because I think it's really informative and helps people understand some of the unique products that I've designed and built and offer on my website, josephcrowe.com. So if you don't know, I do custom audio products for two-channel music lovers, audiophiles. I also do pro sound solutions for either live sound reinforcement or for recording studios as well. Also home theater. So starting with the E250 front horn, which you may have noticed. So this is using the BG Neo 8 Planar transducers. They're a different type of speaker which uses like a mylar thin panel that's driven by powerful neodymium magnets. So this horn follows on the success that we had with the Summer Rain front horn, where we attempted to horn load the BG Neo 8, and we actually found that it had flat response from 200 hertz up to around 15 kilohertz. So we've developed an exponential horn. Summer Rain was a constant directivity type horn. So where we have two instead of one, the idea being increased power handling and increased sensitivity. So the construction is 17 layers of 18 millimeter Baltic birch plywood. This horn is actually just dry assembled, and then I've just lightly sanded it. It's not finished, so this is going to be actually right after this video disassembled into a flat pack and then shipped to the customer. So they've ordered a pair. And so I've just set it up for testing so that I can develop the passive crossover for it and get some measurements, which I've also featured on my blog, Crowe Audio blogspot. So I'll put the link in this video as well. So yeah, 200 hertz loading, and it extends up to 15 kilohertz. So it is a true point source time coherent solution, and it can be used as a two-way. So we have our base cabinet filling in from 200 hertz and below, and this covers the rest. So it's basically the holy grail of what audiophiles are looking for, which low distortion, very fast impulse response, wide coverage, controlled coverage into your room. So this will actually provide a very even coverage. So if you know anything about horns, so the difference between this bookshelf speaker is that it basically projects a very wide coverage pattern into your room. So it's basically omnidirectional within, up to 90 degrees off axis. So until you get up into around the upper treble region, 10 kilohertz area, it then starts to very quickly start to beam. Where with the horn, it's going to provide basically 90 degrees of coverage, and then outside of that 90 degrees, it's going to fall off quickly. Okay, so from about 500 hertz all the way up to 10 kilohertz, it's going to be an even 90 degrees horizontal coverage. And then beyond 10 kilohertz, it will slowly narrow to around, say at 15 kilohertz, it's going to be at around 60 degree coverage. So that's the advantage for horns, as well as the increased sensitivity. So the trick is to actually design a horn that provides very low resonance. So everybody knows horns kind of have a honky sound. That's the stigma associated with them, where if you actually design the horn properly so that there's very little abrupt changes as the wave propagates out of the horn, then you're not going to get that reflection. The sound will hit the edge and then reflect back into the horn and create, a smearing of transient detail. So if you design the horn properly, then it's going to have very low stored energy acoustically. Okay, so getting very technical there, but that's the science behind it. So other product that I offer is the ES1200 Biradial. This is solid walnut, and you can see here it has the rear cover. So this follows on the success of the exponential spiral horn flare, which you can see it comes out, sound wave comes out, and then it wraps all the way around to the back. So starting from the horn throat, we have 270 degrees of wraparound. So that is pretty unique. in the sense that most horns, you know, your traditional exponential horn flare, where it gets to about 70 degrees and then you get to the edge of the cabinet. This is custom designed by myself and CNC machined in my workshop, and so this is a product that's available. And so we've taken it a step further and we've added the rear cover, and it's not just for looks, which I'll explain in a second. So this is the oak version. You can get it in any hardwood that you'd like. So the rear cover actually replaces the rear cover on the compression driver. So if I have my compression driver here, so this is a compression driver. It's a tweeter. So we have the rear cover which comes off, and then it's got a trapped volume of sealed air in behind, and then you have the diaphragm which comes out. So it's serviceable because these are typically used in the pro audio sector where you want to replace a blown diaphragm. Phase plug, motor, magnet, throat. It's a 1-inch throat. This is a BNC DE250. And so what we've done is we've modified the diaphragm for audiophile applications. So in pro audio, your goal is high SPL, high power handling, which limits the overall bandwidth. So this compression driver, bone stock, is not going to produce very good sound below 2 kilohertz. But we've modified it. We've done a number of things so that we can get it down to 800 hertz. So by increasing the rear volume of the rear chamber that you saw there, we have an egg-shaped rear chamber that we've done out of wood that matches the horn, and then we put wool. We pack quite tightly wool into the rear chamber and it also gently presses on the diaphragm. So this all helps with the overall sound. So this this bass cabinet is going to be part of a new series where you can mix and match horns and bass cabinets to produce a speaker, to select a speaker that works within your budget or whatever else needs you have for sound quality. So this support stand is part of that. So how this goes is you have the high frequency horn, which is get bolted onto there. The support stand will hold a large 300 hertz mid-range horn, and so it will fill from 300 hertz up to 3 kilohertz, and then this horn takes over from there as a high frequency horn. Okay, and then the bass cabinet, just to tell you a little bit about that, it's an Onken style 50 liter. It uses an 8-inch Fostex. It's the FW208HS. So it's a high performance woofer. It's not a subwoofer. It will play from 30 hertz up to 2 kilohertz. Okay, so it's got a very large voice coil diameter for an 8-inch. It's 2.5-inch diameter, and it has a massive motor. It's for copper shorting ring, very low distortion motor, and I chose it because of the actual technical properties of this driver. So it sounds fantastic. So 30 hertz, and it plays cleanly up to 2 kilohertz. So you can actually just use it as a two-way with this horn, a 1200 hertz crossover point. And then I also have, if you don't want to use the BNC compression driver, I have this is the ES800. So it's a little bit bigger. It plays down to 800 hertz. You can see it there. So it accommodates any 1-inch compression driver. So it has a standard 3-inch spacing bolt hole pattern. So you can use TAD 2001. The BNC vintage Altec drivers have the same pattern, and RCF. So this is using the RCF compression driver, the ND350, and so far it's the best sounding compression driver that I've tested yet. So I'm extremely impressed with the sound that I'm getting from that compression driver. So there you have it. What else? So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and check out my website.